Morning, my people. For those that are subscribed to my channel, I appreciate you for following me. I appreciate your time and patience for listening to anything that I have to say. That means a whole lot. I'm not doing this for any clout chasing or clickbaits or anything like that. I just think that sometimes some things need to be spoken of. So, I was a parent that was wrongfully put on child support. I understand what the program is about. I understand what the process is for. But I do understand the revisement of what Trump did to child support. I wish he would have done it 40 years ago because I felt like the program was not set up and meant to correctly handle the funds that was allocated and taken from dads to provide provisions for our children. Now, granted, us as men always want to control the fact of where our monies is going because we bust our ass to get it. But at the end of the day, a woman gonna do what she got to do, and you would hope that she would pay some rent, she would pay some light, maybe pay a car note because that transportation is getting you back and forth. Your kids are back and forth to work and so forth. School clothes, food, whatever the needs and necessity of that child needs to have. Now, what's unfortunate is you see all these videos, whether it be fake, whether it be truthful matters. How do you women think that money is money justified and owed to you because you gave birth to a child? No, that money is provisions for the child. You should be taking care of yourself. If that money is coming in, pay rent with it. Pay your car note with it so your car don't get repossessed. Get ahead. I would much rather be mad that you are so far ahead because I've helped you in the matter and you able to justify that by just basically just growing your financial, planning. You get houses, you get a better lifestyle. I'm fine with that. I would never hate on a parent that's doing so. But the fact that you got a lot of these women that are getting $2,000, $3,000 for however many kids they got, but yet they still struggling. And then after the fact, when you done paid all these bills to child support, gave all this funding to medical, because when child support orders come out, you got to pay the child support. They taking money out extra for medical because you're forced to have medical insurance on the children. And then on top of that, before the laws got changed, you couldn't even file. So you getting hit three ways. And then after all those three ways, you get told after years the kid might not be yours, or after all this time for 10, 15 years you've been on support, the kids ain't got nothing, and the woman is still doubling back, asking for more on top of what the court order is. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And the cold part about it is a lot of you elder women was teaching your daughters that this was the route to go. Get yourself pregnant and you can get your Section 8. Get yourself pregnant, you can get a man's money and make him work for you and you ain't got to go work. When did this bullshit pass down, information, thought that this was correct? But I blame a lot of us men because we were so inclined on getting ass, we didn't do the research on seeing who this woman was rather than looking at the outer. If you really did your homework, went on these dates, did some research, is this woman fit to provide for a kid? Is this woman worthy enough to say, if I go to work, she's going to make sure my kids is good with a good heart? Even if it breaks up or separate or divorce, I know this woman got a soul. You know what I'm saying? Us men wasn't doing that. And I can be honest and say, who I thought I was dating turned out to not be who I thought I was dating. Did I make some mistakes? Yes. I'm not perfect. Maybe I was the cause of why she chose to do what she did. But at the end of the day, who I was as a man was not constructive of why she put me on child support. She put me on child support because she knew I always kept a job. She put me on child support because she knew I was going to get to that bag. I'm going to get to that money. So she utilized that circumstances as a clutch valve to make sure that she got some type of income coming in. But then you get all this money off of me for support, but you're still struggling. I don't get that. I don't get that. It's totally wrong. So I just think that the reform that Trump has done for child support order, for dads that are actually doing their due diligence to make sure their kids has provisions, is amazing. I'm happy for the generation going forward of men that don't have to worry about they can't file for child support and they can't do their taxes and claim those kids. You know, you put in all this investment, and then you turn around, you might get unfortunate news that these kids was never yours. You know, you got women that have lied to men for years, and the children was not theirs. They're theirs based on the circumstance that I was in this relationship or marriage for up amount of years. But to find out something like that, not only did you take this man's money, and if he had other kids, you took money away from his biological children just unwillingly to make sure that your kids had, and never collected from the father that actually owed them kids. That's what's ridiculous. And it's okay with you women to have this mindset that that was okay to do that to a man. It's wrong. It is totally wrong. But we live in a world, in a society, that you got to stay woke. You know what I'm saying? I can't give back or take back anything that I went through. It was a mental pain and stress to have to deal with the situation. But you know what? I created these children. They're fully and solely mine. And that comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? That's an advantage that women have to their ability to just say, you know what? Okay, you pissed me off. I'm going to put your ass on child support. That should not be like that. That should be wrongly applied to a man that should have a voice. Yes, I think it should go to court. But most of the time you go to court, is it going to win in the favor of the man? I don't think it will a lot of times. Because a lot of times these courts don't want to separate the child from the birth mother. That's the person that carried him for 9 months. That's the person that did it. And just ethically, what judge is going to give kids to a man unless that woman has some type of mental health issues or on drugs? So if they ain't on one of those two, or they're unfit to be a parent and don't have nowhere for them to stay, they're going to be the only inclusions that a judge will allow or award you custody of the kids. Other than that, it's not happening. It's not happening. So I'm thankful that these laws have been updated. I'm thankful that they're tightening up on Section 8. I feel like 2 years is more than enough, because that's a whole nother subject too on Section 8. A lot of you women been having these kids just so y'all can have less rent and live comfortably and have big ass houses. Them days is over. Them days is over. So all that procreation of kids and having babies year in and year out and getting more money on Section 8, them days is done. Done. You're going to have to find another way. And that's called get an education and get on your back and work like every other fucking American in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to figure this shit out and stop all the bullshit. You know, we already got a bad rap on our race as people, you know, and here it is. Change has come. It ain't coming. It's here. Like, change is here now. What are you doing with the circumstances of laws that's being put in your face right here in today's society in real time that you need to realize you need to wake your ass up, grow up, and reform? Because the old ways of how you was getting it, them days is done. You can't scam and scratch out the food stamps no more. They done cut all the bullshit down on that. Child support, they done tighten it up on that. So you can't go out here and just put men on fucking child support for no reason. And then as far as Section 8, they tighten it up on that. Every low income, profitable help is being deducted away from you. What are you going to do? What is your plan today? Because all this whining I'm seeing on the internet ain't going to fix your problem. You got real life problems. You got to make a real life resolution. Okay? Real life resolution. See, a lot of y'all been sitting at home, ain't had to work for 20-some, 30 years. Your brain ain't had the trigger on, oh, damn, I ain't got no help coming in. Because begging ain't going to do it. Ain't nobody about to help you with no GoFundMe. Ain't nobody about to do that. So, for a lot of you, I pray. I wish better for my people. I wish hope for my younger generation of single mothers, you know, I was raised by a single mom, and it was tough in the 70s. It's even tougher now, especially when they done took away all these programs for you new mothers that might be having babies at 18 and 17. It's unfortunate. I do feel for that generational gap age on dealing with these new processes and laws, because it's going to be real tough on a child, a teenage mother in this era of how they got the laws. But for those of you that's pushing over 40, that's been cheating this system and utilizing this system for what it was based on under the old regime laws, it's a new day. That's all I'm telling you. It's a new day. So that's all I wanted to say. Again, I appreciate anybody that took the time to listen to this video, because you didn't have to do that. You could have just flipped the screen and scrolled up and kept on going like I do sometimes. But, you know, I'm just now starting to get more vocalized on certain topics that I feel like I want to speak on, and I'm just expressing it to the world, as which we should all do, you know. And then you'll come to find that what you're speaking on is clarity. It gets stuff off your chest. A lot of times when you reflect on things that you feeling personally, some people have opinions. This ain't about opinions. This is just about expression of what I'm seeing in the world and how I feel opinionated towards certain topics. So I'll be coming with a lot more. It won't be daily, because I haven't jumped on to be an actual full-time streamer or nothing like that. But I want it to be open and refreshing to be able to give you some type of content on what's on my mind, because the same thing might be going on with a lot of you men that want to speak on this stuff, that's going through the same situations I'm going. So this is for you, and also for you women that's been out here doing this. You wrong. I'm just telling you that you wrong. So hopefully God gives you forgiveness for what you've done to a lot of these men, because I'm one of them victims that got victimized. When I'm a good dad. I was with this woman for over 10 years. I promised I would never leave the state if me and her ever got separated, because I'm going to always be here for my kids. And I just sent my youngest off to college. So I'm a man of my word. Okay, I'm a man of my word. So a lot of you men, it's not about the woman, it's about them children. Don't unjustify your loyalty as a parent and as a father to them kids just because you got an ignorant ass baby mama. That's gonna come. Okay, that's gonna come. But I promise you, if you stick around for them kids and you stay around and stay grounded and be in presence of your children, you will still have your children understand who you are as a dad, regardless of what that woman's pushing out there. I'm telling you that. Stay strong, my brothers. I'm out. God bless.